back, my friends, to the next long overdue segment of Alignment Done Right. Today, we'll be exploring what it means to be neutral evil. Neutral evil is interesting in that the way that it is traditionally interpreted is very similar to how many people view chaotic neutral. It is the alignment for the bastards of the world, who are out for themselves and only themselves. Traditionally, the two are thought to be similar in how characters run, only the desires of the neutral evil characters would be interpreted as more malicious than a chaotic neutral character. Both are selfish, but one's more of a prick. 8 segments into this series, we know a little bit better, don't we? When we talk neutral evil, we are discussing ambiguously principled, selfish characters. The second part of that is right on cue with the traditional interpretation. Characters of this alignment are primarily concerned with personal gain, whether that gain be material or emotional. Where we start to see some discrepancy is with the neutral aspect. As we saw with its counterpart, neutral good, ambiguously principled means we're dealing with a character who has unclear or limited beliefs. What this actually means is that regardless to what they portray to those around them, they are unsure of what they believe in, or they question what they think they do believe in. As with all the neutral alignments, what defines these characters is just not as clear-cut as the 4 extremes. To better illustrate what this sort of character would look like, let's go ahead and get into today's examples. Thanks to being raised in isolation by your mother, our first example has a deep-seated distrust for people, believing that everyone is inherently selfish. Skilled in the ways of magic, seduction, research, and guile, our first example is an unparalleled Witch of the Wilds. Our expected example today is Morrigan of the Dragon Age video game series. Some people would like to call Morrigan a femme fatale for her dark and sensuous nature, and they wouldn't be far off. Much like femme fatales, Morrigan likes to keep her ambitions a secret. She has helped the heroes of Dragon Age multiple times, but only because helping them has served her personal goals. Morrigan believes that everyone is out for themselves, and anyone who claims otherwise is either lying or deluded. In essence, Morrigan believes in survival of the fittest. Because of this, it is easy to see why Morrigan is evil. She's unapologetically selfish and cynical of concepts such as compassion and selflessness. Towards this end, she seeks knowledge and power, even at the cost of others' pain. So she's evil. But, Dan, you did say the word believe an awful lot. Wouldn't that make her principled? It is true that law versus chaos is a measure of a person's beliefs, principles, and causes. However, it is a continuum. For those who are questioning or limited in their beliefs, we have neutral or ambiguously principled. Morrigan believes in survival of the fittest and personal freedom. Beyond that, she has no real cause but her own. Further, it is difficult to classify these beliefs as principles because they require little accountability to hold oneself or others to. This vagueness only intensifies if the hero Ferelden courts her. In this instance, she begins to question her faith in these ideals while simultaneously fighting to uphold them. Further, add to this that Morrigan portrays herself to others as being virtuous and believing in your cause. You're never really sure what Morrigan believes in. The only real thing that her companions can be sure about Morrigan is that she's in the game for herself. Morrigan is neutral evil. Similar to our Witch of the Wilds, our next example is limited in his beliefs. Most don't even think he has any. Not much is known about our second example's history, except that the process of turning him into the prototype of a magical super soldier drove him quite mad. An eternal harlequin, the first magic tech knight, general of the Gestalian Empire, murderer of the people of Doma, and owner of one of the most iconic laughs in video gaming, our unexpected example is Kefka Palazzo of Final Fantasy VI. Nope, Star Wars fans are still louder. But Dan, you scream yet again! Kefka is the Joker of Final Fantasy! He's evil! He's crazy! He's a clown! How can he not be chaotic evil? Well, you're mostly right. Kefka and the Joker are definitely cut from the same cloth. They'd certainly enjoy each other's company. Poor Harley. It's okay! You can have Deadpool! No one's arguing that Kefka isn't evil with a capital H, but we're here to discuss his principles. You do have principles, Kefka. They're twisted and unfocused, but they're principles nonetheless. If Kefka is like the Joker, then he's like the Joker of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, where the Clown Prince of Crime is an anarchist with something to prove. Kafka is a nihilist and a misanthrope. He believes the world is flawed and without purpose. Emotions and life itself are pointless illusions. For Kafka, the only real meaning to life is death. The only meaning to creation, destruction. Because of these beliefs, once Kafka sees his ultimate power, his first action is to torture the world in a display of life's meaninglessness. And then he tries to end existence. His principles are insane and chaotic by nature. They almost become an oxymoron, being self-contradictory. But he follows them to a T. Here are 2 links to videos that display this chaotic principled nature. Pause the video and give them a watch real quick. Whoop, whoop. Kafka is selfish because he will harm others to get what he wants, which is often to harm others. He is ambiguously principled because he has firm-held principles that are twisted and unfocused and self-contradictory. Kafka is neutral evil. So what can we learn about the alignment from these 2 very different people? First is that, like the traditional interpretation, neutral evil characters are in it for themselves. Their desires are their primary cause. Second is that they have beliefs or rules that they live by. It's just that those beliefs are more like overarching worldviews as opposed to personal held limitations. So more along the lines of believing that fair fights are more challenging and thus more fun, as opposed to, say, never allowing yourself to kill your opponent when their back is turned or when they're prone. Thirdly, and this is important, that neutral evil characters can still serve causes and masters. Just because they don't believe in what or who they're fighting for doesn't mean that the other person's goal doesn't meet their own, at least for the time being. We are so close to finishing things up. We only have 1 more alignment to go. Come back next time as we explore one of the most misunderstood and enigmatic alignments. Next time on Alignment Done Right, True Neutral. Is interesting in that it's tradition. Okay, someone who has unclear or limited beliefs. Where we start to see some discrepancy is with the neutral aspect. As we saw with its counterpart, neutral good, ambiguously principled means that we're dealing with someone who has unclear or limited beliefs. It's not very nice. It's not very nice. Okay, what this actually means is that regardless of what they portray to those around them, they are unsure if they believe in anything, or question what they think they do believe in. Maybe I need to do a character. Everything is just, this insults me on a personal level! As with all the natural alignments, what defines these characters is not as clear-cut as the 4 extremes. Enough of that foolishness. Let us return to the show. To illustrate what this sort of character would look like, let's go ahead and get into today's examples. Perhaps it's a little hot in this room, and the sickness has come by. Okay, alright. To better illustrate what this sort of character would look like, let's go ahead and get to today's examples! I am Groot. 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 Hodor. Dream yet again? Kafka is just the Joker of Final Fantasy. He's... Harley. It's okay. You can have Deadpool. Come on now, come on now, come on now. Okay. Kafka is a nihilist... My voice cracked. I promise you, I'm almost 30.